Okay. We're up. A couple of minutes late today. I'm right on time. That's what happens when I start late. We got some people popping on. Hi, Yolanda. Hey, Lynette. Merry Christmas. Olivia says Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, Olivia. And to everybody. Hey, Betty. Glad you could make it. Christmas week. It's got a lot going on this week. We got 5 services on Christmas Eve, and then I don't know what everybody's doing for Christmas. Not a lot of traveling this year. I'm going to give it just another couple of minutes, and so I usually start about 5 minutes before, so I'm going to give it just a couple more minutes, and we'll let folks pop on. It always takes get to a place where they can jump on and watch, and then we'll talk. Yeah, I got a couple more on there. I'm at the house today. I was at the office this morning, and then here this afternoon we had to have some appliances repaired. Good thing to have. Good thing about a rent house is that somebody else repairs your appliances. Well, Pam, I don't know why it's not working on your iPad. I hate that. If you use Safari on your iPad too, sometimes when Apple's in between their updates, Safari does goofy stuff, and things won't work for a few days or whatever. I don't know if that's it or not, but I've had that happen to me on my iPad before. I love Apple stuff, but sometimes when they're fixing their security things, it can be a real pain. Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and get rolling with today. So, the hymn that I'd like to talk about today, and I'm just going to talk a little and then want to sing through this one, is I Heard the Bells on Christmas Day. And it's a beautiful, beautiful song. There's been more than one version of it, so I don't know which version you guys familiar with. Hopefully I bet you'll know this one. This is the one that's out of the hymnal. But and y'all may already know the story too behind it. It's not a very long story, but I think it's an interesting story. And the words to this hymn were originally a poem, and it was a poem that was written by Longfellow, Henry Wordsworth Wadsworth Longfellow. And you may recognize that name. He's one of America's great poets. And he wrote the poem in 1863. So what happened before this was in 1861, his wife was killed in a fire, and he was very despondent over that, as you can imagine. Then in 1861, the Civil War broke out. In 1862, his son enlisted in the army against his father's wishes. His dad didn't want him to go fight, and his son said he just felt like he had to go do his duty, and he was wounded. So within a couple of years, his wife dies, his son gets wounded. He did survive, but he was wounded in the war. He's still living in the middle of the worst conflict in American history. More people were killed, more Americans were killed in the Civil War than in any other military engagement in U.S. history. If you take all the other wars that we've been in combined, it's just slightly higher of a total that one single conflict. So it was a really, really terrible, terrible thing. So he's living in the middle of all this horror. And being a poet, he expressed himself through his words. So the verses that are in the hymnal are the ones that you probably are familiar with, that you may have heard. Bing Crosby did a very that has a little bit of a different melody. Frank Sinatra recorded it. Choirs have sung it. So it's very popular. Has become, particularly since the 50s, a very popular song. But there's a couple of verses that I thought I'd share with you that kind of tie back to, and then I'll sing the ones that we're more familiar with here in just a second. But these are the ones that are left out because it's really not, the war is over, for one thing, and it's not the kind of thing that, it doesn't make for a good hymn. But I thought for the background here, you guys might want to hear some of these other bits that are left out. So two of the stanzas that are left out typically of the hymn, he says, "Then from each black accursed mouth the cannon thundered in the south, and with the sound the carols drowned of peace on earth, goodwill to men. It was as if an earthquake rent the hearthstones of a continent, and made forlorn the households born of peace on earth, goodwill to men." And then he goes on into the verses that I'm going to sing here in a minute. And you can see why we kind of leave those verses out now, but they are part of the original poem, because he was writing about what he was experiencing, in the moment. What I love about this hymn, what I love about this song, I'm sorry. I flipped back over to look at the comments, and we've got a bot or a troll. So y'all just, there's a fly here buzzing around my head. Bear with me for a moment. I'm just reporting the spam. This is probably not even a real person. It's the first time this has happened that I've seen it happen. I don't know if y'all know this happens. There's these computer programs and they post stuff. So anyway, we're just gonna move right along and forget all that. So what I love about this hymn is that it starts off in this beautiful place. Then you sort of experience the darkness that he was experiencing, but it ends with this beautiful triumphant ending. And I think that is the message of Christmas. It's the message of Christ. We're about to move out. Just in the next few weeks, we'll move out of the Christmas season into Lent and the Easter season. And, you know, it's the message of the cross, that Christ is risen. So that's the beauty of the message of Christ, is that it's about hope, it's about joy, it's about love, and that even in the darkness, that there's still a light. And that even in just that imagery or the sound of those bells, that we can find hope. So, enough talking. Let me sing through this one, and I'm going to sing the verses that are in the hymnal. I heard the bells on Christmas Day, their old familiar carols played, and wild and sweet the words repeat of peace on earth, goodwill to men. I thought how as the day had come, the belfries of all Christendom had rolled along the unbroken song of peace on earth, goodwill to men. And in despair, I bowed my head. There is no peace on earth, I said, for hate is and mocks the song of peace on earth, goodwill to men. Then pealed the bells more loud indeed. God is not dead, nor doth he sleep. The wrong shall fail, the right prevail, with peace on earth, goodwill to men. Then ringing, singing on its way, the world revolved from night to day. A voice, a chime, a chant sublime of peace on earth, goodwill to men. Of peace on earth, goodwill to men. Well, whether that's the version that you listen to or not, I hope that it brings some joy and peace to you in this Christmas season. Don't forget that we have 5 services coming up this week on Christmas Eve. There's going to be a 3 o'clock traditional service, a 5 o'clock kids service for families, 7 o'clock traditional service that'll be just the same as our 3 o'clock. There's a 9 o'clock musical sort of a drama. It's a story that has music with it that the praise band's going to be leading. And then there's an 11 o'clock contemplative service to kind of end out your Christmas Eve. So you can come to one or all, or however you want to do that. The church is asking that if you've picked a service that you want to go to, if you just let us know. We're trying to get head counts to kind of get a feel for what we need to do, if we need overflow or that sort of thing. So it's not a reservation or a ticket, so you're welcome to come to any of the services. Bring any family that happens to be in, but we hope that you'll be able to come and be part of that. On Wednesday at 4:32, one of the pastors will share a message. And don't forget, the church offices will be closed starting Wednesday at noon, and they'll be closed next week as well. And if you need any of us, just email or call, and we'll be glad to get back to you. So if anything comes up you need prayer for. So appreciate you guys watching and your comments, always very encouraging comments, and I hope that this is something that just reminds you of the beauty and the power of Christmas, and the beauty and the power of the message that we seek to live out every day, that Christ is born, and that we're going to celebrate that this week. So, and this was a dark year, and we need the light. Oh, and don't forget tonight, the Christmas star. Huh? Hasn't happened in 800 years. They're calling it the Christmas star. These two planets are going to come close to each other, and they say you can see it about 45 minutes after dark, or after the sun sets tonight. And you just look up in the west above the moon, and there it'll be, a big bright spot where Jupiter and Saturn are coming close to each other. Isn't that something? So in a very dark year, I think it's good that we got the Christmas star. I hope y'all have a blessed week. Merry Christmas, and that to come and either worship with us in person on Christmas Eve or to watch one of our services on our Facebook page. So let me just say a quick prayer. Father, we thank you for the gift of Christ and for the light that you've sent into the darkness. We thank you that we can have hope and peace even in the midst of such a struggle and such a difficult year. I just thank you for all those who are watching, and for our church, for and our world that you've given to us, that we can live on together. And just ask that you would help us to find ways to live at peace with one another, and that we would be reminded of the beauty and the power of love and joy and peace and hope that comes at Christmas time. And we ask all. Amen. All right. Y'all have a blessed day.